So I'm feeling a bit of schadenfreude, shall we say, at the news that rocker Ted Nugent has come down with the coronavirus. Not shocking. Not shocking to me or anybody who's been paying attention. It's not a surprise because he's been a vocal critic of wearing masks, socially distancing, lockdowns here in Michigan. In fact, he did a Facebook Live. He's been going on the Facebooks and he has been saying things like this.
Dirty, lying, scam, smoke and mirrors, COVID-19 freaks. I guess I would ask you, because I'm addicted to truth, logic, and common sense, and my common sense meter would demand the answer to why weren't we shut down for COVID 1 through 18? There was a COVID 1 and there was a COVID 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. COVID 1 through 18 didn't shut anything down, but whoa, COVID 19, even though it's 99.8% survivable, why didn't we shut down for the AIDS epidemic or the flu or the Spanish flu or the bird flu or the West Nile flu or influenza every year? They claim 500,000 people have died from COVID 19. Bull.
All right, so that's Ted. That happened last week. And look, I broke down all the time, basically everything that he was wrong about in that video in a separate video. But now, just just recently, in fact, as recently as Monday, Ted Nugent they had to come out and admit this to his followers. Take a look.
I was tested positive today. I got the Chinese. Boy, I got a stuffed up head. Body aches. My God, what a pain in the ass. I literally can hardly crawl out of bed the last few days. But I did. I crawled. I don't look like I've been crawling, do I? So I was officially tested positive for COVID-19 today.
Huh. It's almost as if COVID-19 is not a joke. Weird. And let's be honest. Most people who do get it, yes, they end up feeling terrible, like Mr. Ted, but they do eventually recover. Not everybody is, of course, lucky like Ted. In fact, many people, after feeling, uh, I mean, yes, do a lot of people do end up feeling like Ted. They feel like garbage for a few days. They end up like going through some pretty nasty symptoms, but they get through it in the end, right? And they eventually will go back to normal. But then again, not that many people are as lucky as Ted, because they do suffer permanent lung damage, organ damage, neurological damage, and others end up facing some very serious hospital stays, ventilators, and many even die. For example, the 500,000 people, over 500,000 people that did die as a result of COVID 19. Yes, that is what they died from, Ted. Now, you might think, all right, he got COVID 19. It sucked. And he's starting to feel better now. That you would think that maybe that might humble him a bit. And that he might be like, oh, well, it turns out this thing was kind of serious. And maybe I was wrong about this. Well, as you're going to see, no.
So I said, Doc, all right, you want me to get tested? I haven't been tested, haven't taken the vaccine, so nobody knows what's in it. Actually, some people do know what's in it. And if you can't even honestly answer our questions of exactly what's in it and why are you testing it on human beings and forcing it upon people in such a short period of time, instead of answering those questions, I said to the doctor, hey, Doc, if I test positive, what will you do different if I test negative? And the doctor went, nothing. But it's good to know.
So, yeah, we have anti-vax talking points. Now, another thing that's interesting is that he seems to misunderstand the whole point of getting tested. And that's not surprising given who we're talking about here. All right. The whole point of knowing if you have COVID 19 and going to get your test and testing positive in his case is not so that the doctor can do stuff with you. Unless, of course, you're Donald Trump, unless you have some serious conditions to which they can treat it with certain medications. No, really, in the case of Ted Nugent, who was not sick enough to be hospitalized, is that, well, we're going to tell you you have COVID 19 so that you can take preventative measures to protect other people from getting COVID 19 from you. For example, self quarantine or letting people that you've been in contact with know that, hey, look, I tested positive for COVID 19. So you yourself should either get tested or self quarantine just in case so that you don't give it to other people. That's the whole point. But of course, Ted Nugent is a typical selfish right winger, doesn't give a damn about other people. It's all about me, 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 me. That's what it is. The thought never really crossed this tiny little addled mind. But to the next point, let's talk about the vaccines, right? So you heard the anti-vax. Oh, they don't know. They don't let us know what's in it. They're not telling us what's in it, and they're forcing it on us. No. It actually took me about all of 5 seconds to find what's in the vaccine. So now, personally, I took the Pfizer vaccine. I'm not dead. I don't have 5G implants sprouting up all over my face or anything like that, and so I'm actually fine. No complications, nothing. So I'm going to tell you what is in the Pfizer vaccine that I had taken. Okay. So now the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine is made from the following ingredients: mRNA, also known as messenger RNA, and that is the active ingredient in the vaccine. The mRNA molecules contain the genetic material that provides instructions for our body on how to make a viral protein that triggers the body's immune response. The immune response is what causes our bodies, of course, to make antibodies needed to protect us from getting infected or exposed to coronavirus. And generally, they do a pretty good job. Now, there are rumors spread by stupid people that mRNA vaccines will somehow alter our DNA and change us into something else, and we become lizard people, or I don't know. And they say that because the RNA molecule can convert information stored in DNA into proteins. Now, that is simply not true. In reality, it is critical to note that the mRNA vaccines never enter the nucleus of the cell or mess with your DNA at all. In fact, once the viral protein is made on the surface of the cell, the mRNA is broken down and the body gets rid of it. We get rid of junk DNA all the time, or junk RNA in this case. And so it literally does not change our DNA at all. So I'm sorry, no lizard people, which kind of a bummer. I wouldn't mind being a lizard person, actually. It'd be interesting. Anyway, that's the main thing. mRNA. All right, that's the main the only active ingredient in these vaccines. So there are other stuff in them. Well, the other thing that's in them is basically they're known as lipids, right? Essentially fats. Now, their main role is to protect the mRNA and provide somewhat a greasy exterior that helps the mRNA slide into the cells and allow the cells, which are basically factories, to produce the protein that then your immune system says, hey, what is this? What is this crap that you're putting out? Well, now we got to get rid of it. But in doing so, it actually learns how to fight things that have that protein attached to it, which of course is the virus. So yeah, lipids, making it nice and slippery, nice and greasy, so that, kind of like Ted's hair. Those lipids actually have some scary science names, but are essentially nothing more than greasy fats. Fantastic. Now, the vaccine also, at least in Pfizer's case, and every vaccine has some different things, right? Now, part of the Pfizer vaccine also includes salts. Now, salts they put in there for, I guess, to help balance the acidity in the body. Like, for example, sodium chloride, which is literal table salt. All right, well, there you go. Now, it also includes other different types of salts for that same reason. Now, There's also sugar that's inside of it, basic table sugar, which then helps the molecules maintain shape during freezing, which of course is when the Pfizer vaccine has to be stored in very cold temperatures. And that's basically it. You got your assorted fats, sugars, salts, and your mRNA. Basically it. So again, I took the vaccine. I'm totally fine. So millions of people. Half the population in the United States is fully vaccinated. So that shows that it's not being tested on people. That was what clinical trials were for. And it was successful in the clinical trials. And so as a result, it's safe. It's effective. It confers up to 90% immunity from the known strains of this virus. Again, I'm just talking about the Pfizer vaccine that I had. And while there are complications that have been reported before, adverse reactions from some people, a very small handful of people compared to the millions and millions, infinitesimal, it's an infinitesimally small amount of people that have had an adverse reaction. Same as basically any other vaccine out there. And so the fact that it's such a small amount of people that are not able to take this vaccine is more of a reason that everyone who can take the vaccine should take the vaccine. It's to protect those people who can't. Again, these thoughts never cross the mind of a far-right conspiracy theorist because all they care about is me, how special I am, and how I know more than you, even though what I know is complete and utter junk. That's it. But we really should get the vaccine in order to protect the people who are not able to get the vaccine because they are more prone to these adverse reactions. That's it. And let's also be clear. Nobody's forcing anybody to get the vaccine. It's all voluntary. Now, the only bad thing here is that it relies on selfish a-holes like Ted Nugent to look beyond themselves for just 1 second in order to save other people's lives. That's a problem. Okay? And I don't know how to reach those people other than with facts, because you cannot force people to get vaccinated. I'm against forced vaccinations, but if you know somebody who is hesitant, please, show them the video, show them the information, get them all the facts, tell them what's in the vaccine, that it's no more harmful than a burger from McDonald's, and that I hope you can get through to them. Because the only way that we're going to beat this virus and get back to some semblance of normal and save lives in the process is to encourage people to go and get this vaccine. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.